A major victory for Governor Gavin Newsom tonight.
But it was not just a victory tonight for the Democratic Party. It was a victory for the United States of America.
California voters overwhelmingly approving Proposition 50, designed to push back against Republicans' efforts to gain seats in Congress.
And we had to do this because we couldn't let Texas decide our fate.
Tonight, reaction from those for and against the proposition, how our area voted, and how its passage will literally redraw the political landscape.
In one fell swoop, political insiders grabbed the power away from the people.
Good evening. I'm Edie Lambert.
And I'm Gulston Dart. Thanks for being with us for this Commitment 2025 special election coverage tonight at 11. And right now, the results continue to roll in for Prop 50. Here's a look at the results right now.
The proposition passing by a large margin with support from 64% of the votes counted so far.
And we saw a big turnout in parts of our region. And here's a look at the lines in Sacramento, Yuba City, Rockland. People lining up at polling locations for a chance to vote on Proposition 50.
We have team coverage tonight. Peyton Headley and Anahita Jafari are at Sacramento and San Joaquin County election offices. Cecil Hannibal and Andres Valle will have a reaction to the passage of Prop 50 from both sides.
All right, we want to start, though, with KCRA 3's Ashley Zavala right now. So, Ashley, you were there when the governor had a chance to address the cameras and the Democratic Party headquarters there. So let's talk a little bit about what he wanted to get out as his message tonight.
And that message has been consistent tonight and for the last 3 months since this campaign got going. This was really the chance for California voters to stand up to President Donald Trump. That's how Governor Gavin Newsom pitched this to voters. And that has been his message from the start of this campaign, that this is not so much about the district map and who represents you in Congress as much as it is about countering the president. Here's what Governor Newsom said.
Proud of the work that the people of the state of California did tonight to send a powerful message to an historic president. Donald Trump is an historic president. He is the most historically unpopular president in modern history. In every critical category, Donald Trump is underwater. He promised to make us healthier. He promised to make us wealthier. We're sicker and poorer. And he fundamentally understands that.
A key observation from this election is how President Donald Trump largely stayed out of it. He did not tap into donors here in California. He did not rally or push here. He was not a formal part of the campaign fighting it. As polls opened today, President Donald Trump called Prop 50 a scam, saying it's under legal and criminal review. His spokesperson, Caroline Levitt, said an executive order would be coming. We're waiting to see what exactly that executive order entails.
So speaking of President Trump, I mean, the AP projected that Prop 50 would pass right when the polls closed, but that's 11 o'clock his time.
Exactly.
Have we heard from him since that news came down?
Oh, yeah. He's been posting on Truth Social minutes within this race being called. He posted this call for Congress to essentially pass voter reform, voter ID, ban mail-in ballots, and prevent a packing of the Supreme Court. The president went on to urge the Senate to end the filibuster. The filibuster is a key tactic used to delay or block a vote in the Senate by essentially doing whatever is possible to prolong the debate. Senator John Thune, the majority leader right now, the Republican, has said that's not something he's going to do. But tonight being a sweep for Democrats, we'll see how Republicans feel in the morning.
All right, Ashley, thank you.
Well, we're also hearing reaction from California Republicans tonight.
KCRA 3 Cecil Hannibal covered their news conference as they talked about Prop 50.
We're here outside of the headquarters for the California Republican Party here on election night, and we just heard from them after the news that Prop 50 has passed. They call it a sad day for their constituents.
And these election results just proved that they campaigned on a whole lot of lies and drove emotionally charged arguments to get people to vote against their best interests by protecting the gold standard on the redistricting committee.
Community members throughout the state of California have spent tens of thousands of hours pouring input into the shaping of these districts, and in one fell swoop, political insiders grabbed the power away from the people.
The fight for California has just begun. I've worked with a lot of young people up and down this state who have lived entirely under this one-party rule in this state, and they're fed up with it.
Overall, leaders within the California GOP say this was a tremendous loss for their party and the efforts they've made here in the state of California, but they say they plan to continue to mobilize and energize voters heading into next year's midterms. In Sacramento, Cecil Hannibal, KCRA 3 News.
Now, the 3rd Congressional District will be changing with the passage of Prop 50. That district currently covers much of California's border with Nevada, including parts of Sacramento, Yuba, and El Dorado counties, and Congressman Kevin Kiley currently represents that district. The new boundaries are, well, here they are highlighted here, and Democrats will have an 8-point registration advantage over Republicans in this newly drawn district. Congressman Ami Bera says he plans to run in District 3 because it covers a big part of Sacramento County.
Representing 60% of that district, and I look forward to getting to know the folks up in Tahoe and Truckee, Granite Bay. You know, let's bring representation to those folks.
So again, District 3 is currently represented by Congressman Kiley. He says he does plan to run for re-election, but at this point, he doesn't know which district. He says his bigger goal is to stop this tactic for drawing congressional lines in all 50 states. He wrote a bill that would limit redistricting to once a decade, and while the Speaker hasn't acted on his bill, Kiley does believe he can get it passed.
I actually have members of Congress on both sides of the aisle who tell me all the time that they support it. A Democrat from North Carolina, Don Davis, just introduced a very similar bill. So I think that actually it would get majority support. It would pass if it came to the floor for a vote. So I'm going to try to work with folks on both sides however I can to get that passed.
And we're also hearing from Republican Congressman Doug LaMalfa, who represents District 1 before Prop 50. That district was this orange area you see there. It had spanned from Knights Landing all the way to the Oregon state line. And the green area you see there, that's the newly redrawn district for him. And let's take a closer look. It shrinks and moves westward, now leaning Democratic. And Congressman LaMalfa telling us earlier tonight, all but one county he currently represents voted no on 50. And he told our Curtis Ming that he's afraid that they won't be heard or represented with these new districts.
I feel like I've had my longtime constituents kidnapped from me on this, and we've poured our hearts into the district, me and my staff, for quite a few years in the different iterations, and it's bitterly disappointing on that.
He says he'll be watching the legal challenges of Prop 50. He said that even if those challenges are not successful, he does plan to run next year to keep the seat that he has held since 2013.
So as we've been reporting, the passage of Prop 50 will result in some major changes for California's congressional districts.
In KCRA 3's Curtis Ming joining us right now with a look at the shifting landscape.
So let's show you the big changes after tonight's vote. If we start over here, this is the current congressional map for the state of California, and you can see a lot of red on the eastern part of the state representing Republican districts, and the blue primarily is from the Central Valley West. This over here is what voters just approved. You can see the entire North State that was once red is now blue, and you can see we just have a few districts now that are Republican. Let's go district by district, starting with District 1. This is the district that Doug LaMalfa currently has, a Republican, and you can see the district once was this area all in orange, but now it is redrawn to just this green area, and it goes west, and by doing that, this most likely is going to turn this district Democratic. If we go to District 3, this is where Kevin Kiley currently sits, and you can see it once encompassed all of eastern California. Well, now it's just this area, and it goes west on into Sacramento County, which is most likely going to turn this district Democratic. And then I want to show you right here on this interactive map something that's very interesting, because this right here shows you that the city of Lodi, which is located right here, is now split into 3 districts, still all Democratic, but the city council was against this because they thought it would be more difficult to get federal funding for their city, but now they're going to have to deal with the fact that they have 3 different representatives in Congress representing the city of Lodi. To see how the districts have changed near you, you can scan the QR code on your screen, or you could go to KCRA.com.
As for District 7, the new boundaries now include El Dorado Hills and parts of Lodi, in addition to Sacramento. And longtime Representative Doris Matsui has a new challenger. Sacramento City Council member Mai Vang announced she is running in District 7.
That also means that tomorrow the fight continues, and we have to make sure we send new leaders back to D.C. To take on this administration. I mean, in this moment, we got to make sure we elect leaders who can understand the day-to-day struggles of our working families.
As for Congresswoman Doris Matsui, while her district is changing, she feels she will be well received in the new areas that will be added to District 7.
Pick up new territory by going east to taking Alvarado Hills, Placerville. Then I go to Lodi, parts of it. So it's going to be interesting. But, the one thing is that, I do have some of the rural areas in the county anyway. But I grew up on a farm. So I think that helps me a great deal.
We will have more election coverage coming up in just a moment. First, though, here's a live look at Stockton tonight, where a change in the weather is blowing in.
And some people are already starting to feel that wind. Let's check in with meteorologist Heather Waldman. How windy will it get?
Well, winds are really going to pick up for the central part of the valley overnight tonight and into, say, the pre-sunrise hours tomorrow. Right now, the wind's picking up along the north coast. You can see the rain starting to move in, but I've highlighted the winds around this area of low pressure, the storm that's going to be moving off to our north. This is the area we're focusing on. You see where these arrows come together? That's the cold front that's going to sweep through first thing tomorrow morning. Not seeing any gusts over 20 miles per hour yet in the valley. Truckee at the airport has been a little windy for the last few hours, but watch how these winds evolve. By 4 o'clock Wednesday morning, winds on the west side of the valley gusting close to 40 miles per hour or even a little bit higher. Those winds then spread across the valley, briefly into the foothills. Once we get past 9 a.m. tomorrow, the wind really backs down quickly. This is 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And then our focus is really going to be on the Sierra. So winds in the valley gusting between 40 and 45 miles per hour. Certainly enough that we could see a few tree limbs come down, an isolated outage. It is just going to make a mess of the commute. But in the Sierra, the crest and over to the east slope, that's where we could see some gusts up over 60 miles per hour. Back to you.
Okay, so winds. And also, Heather, tomorrow's going to be a wet day, so a little snow with that too, right?
Yeah, a little bit of snow. This is going to be more of a rainmaker than a snowmaker, so the skiers not getting excited about this just yet. Clouds have been on the increase through this evening. The rain still a good 6 to 8 hours away. So this is 5:30 tomorrow morning. Keep in mind the timing that I just showed you with the wind. So this is lining up with the arrival of that heavier rain that sweeps across the valley at about 7 o'clock in the morning, then moves up into the foothills for the rest of the morning. Once we get past 9 a.m., again, the winds in the valley really start to back down. The rain also starts to back down, but if we get into some chain controls, that's going to be likely between about 9 a.m. and noon. So it's not going to last for long. Quick little burst of snow, maybe an inch or two over Donner and Echo Summit. 1 o'clock Wednesday afternoon, hit and miss showers for the valley. Things a lot more unsettled in the mountains. And remember, it is going to be windy that entire time as well. By the time we get to 6:30 Wednesday evening, the valley is starting to dry out, even starting to clear out a little bit while we're still watching some of those showers along the west slope of the Sierra. Thursday, a quieter day, may get into a few mountain showers on Friday. The rest of the 7-day forecast is going to be quiet. So how much rain are we talking? Well, if you're just joining us for the first time since yesterday, we have increased these numbers just a little bit, up to an inch on the east side of the Sacramento Valley. Same trend, though. The farther south you go, the lower the numbers are going to be. Still a nice wetting rain possible in Stockton and Modesto. Look at the numbers for the foothills and for the coastal hills, too. Lakeport, Blue Canyon, some of the higher elevation spots picking up 2 to 3 inches of rain. Truckee and Tahoe, yeah, no snow there. That's just a ½ inch to an inch of what could be some beneficial rain. Nice to get some moisture into the ground. Talk more about the extended forecast in a few minutes.
All right, Heather, thank you. KCRA 3 will stay on top of the changing weather through tomorrow morning, and meteorologist Tamara Berg and traffic expert Brian Hickey will be tracking conditions starting at 4 a.m. right here on KCRA. And send in your videos and pictures of weather in your neighborhood, and we'll show it on air. Go to kcra.com/upload. Well, Governor Gavin Newsom and the California Secretary of State are responding to President Donald Trump's claims that there is voter fraud going on in California.
Earlier today, President Trump blasted Prop 50, calling it, quote, unconstitutional and rigged in a post on Truth Social. This is despite the president's efforts to push Republican states to also redistrict. Governor Newsom kept his response short, posting on X, quote, the ramblings of an old man that knows he's about to lose. The Secretary of State, Shirley Weber, said in a statement, in part, it appears this is another baseless claim. The bottom line is California elections have been validated by the courts. California voters will not be deceived by someone who consistently makes desperate, unsubstantiated attempts to dissuade Americans from participating in our democracy. Well, we did see some long lines at vote centers across Northern California today.
Yeah, and of course now the work to count all those ballots, well, it's already starting. And here's a look inside the Sacramento County Elections Office. This is just a little bit earlier tonight. Workers were busy going through the ballots, processing them. Elections officials tell us more than 371,000 people cast a ballot in Sacramento County, and that puts turnout at just over 40%. These numbers could change, obviously, slightly as ballots mailed and postmarked by today will arrive later at Elections Office. So let's head over to Anahita Jafari. She's live in San Joaquin County with the counting going on there. Anahita.
Good evening. We're at the San Joaquin County warehouse for the Registrar of Voters. And right behind me, you can see more than 100 volunteers are here wrapping up processing these ballots for the night. The ROV has confirmed 24,861 people voted here in person. According to the ROV, 57,001 voted yes by mail and 46,649 voted no by mail. We want to shift your attention to the left. This is where volunteers are scanning every ballot box and scanning devices. And then right back here to the center, we're going to move to our right. And in the center, that's where vote by mail ballots and same-day registration provisional ballots are getting a raw count. So those will then go from back around here to where I'm standing. You can see these blue bags. That's where they're placed, then taken into those transport bags. We're live out here in Stockton. I'm Anahita Jafari, KCRA 3 News.
It's a process. Anahita, thank you. Well, while Proposition 50 appears to have passed by a wide margin, it did see some opposition in certain parts of our area.
So to get a look at how people in our area voted, here's KCRA 3's Andrea Flores with those numbers.
So guys, yeah, we want to show you these numbers, and these are numbers from the Associated Press in real time. So this is a cool tool that we have here, and this is what we use in our newsroom. We use this tool to update our numbers on air and online. So I want to show you just a snapshot of what we've been talking about. As you take a look at Sacramento County here, 61% voted yes and 38% voted no. Again, opposition in our area as well, though. So I want to take you through some of the counties where we saw some big numbers of those opposition against Prop 50. You can see El Dorado, 56% voted no and 43% voted yes. I want to show you now Tuolumne County, where 60% of people voted no there and 39% voted in favor of Proposition 50. Also want to show you this, Madera County, 56% on no, yes, 43% there. And taking you through some other areas, Mariposa, take a look at this, no, 60%. This is with 70% of the votes counted so far, yes, 39% of the vote. Now on the flip side, like if we go to, let's say, San Francisco, no surprise here, you're going to see yes on 50 at 84%, no at 15%. And if you're curious about what was going on in Southern California as those votes continue to come in, we'll show you Los Angeles here. Yes, 73%, no at 26%. And then we want to touch on Orange County as well, which typically leans red. We want to show you this, Orange County here. Yes, 54%, very close here, no at 45%. We'll continue to keep these numbers updated on air and online.
All right, Andrea, thank you. And while Prop 50 was the only statewide measure on the ballot, voters in some Northern California counties also decided some local measures and races.
Okay, here's a breakdown. El Dorado County voters there electing a board member to the El Dorado Hills Community Services District. And you can see right now between the candidates Gary Kinghorn and Wayne Lowry, Kinghorn is winning that race with a sizable lead.
In Truckee, voters weighed in on Measure G. Right now, you can see that is passing by a wide margin, 70 to 30%. It would authorize a $29 annual tax on vacant parcels to pay for a new public library. If approved, and it looks like it is, this tax would be collected for 30 years.
There is also a race to elect a Plumas Unified School Board member, and we can show you what that looks like right now as it stands. Matthew De La Montoya is at 62% and Keith Barnett at 38%. As the counting still comes in. There's also elections happening outside of California. AP is reporting that Democratic Socialist Zohran Mamdani has been elected as the next mayor of New York City.
The 34-year-old assembly member defeated former Democratic Governor Andrew Cuomo, who ran as an independent and got late support from President Trump, and Republican Curtis Sliwa. Mamdani will be the city's first Muslim mayor, the first of South Asian heritage, and the firstborn in Africa. He will take office on January 1st. Right now on KCRA.com, you can find information about how to make sure your ballot was received and counted, or whether an issue has come up with your ballot.